Hello, hello. So I'm outside and I live very close to a very, very beautiful beaches. It's a very sunny day, so there's lots of people out. And I'm here today because I have been musing, like I do, about what is this like ingredient for, I'm always thinking about all these healers, wellness practitioners, so on, that have a practice, that are selling their time, 1 hour, 50 quid or whatever. And they're kind of trapped there and they're tired. And I'm always thinking, like, what is it that would turn their life around and they feel like they're thriving in their business? And I'm thinking, like, well, how have I done it? And what is that? And that's what Visibility Gateway is like everything I've gone through to be able to make it work for me in the way I want to make it work in my life. So I'm, because of what's gone on for me in the last year, I've wanted to work in particular ways and not others. And that's, partly because I think outside the box. I've been able to create ways of working that suit me and that feel good to me. So, for example, I went from one-to-one to group work. That felt like a huge achievement and change. And then it was like, how do you talk powerfully? After, 8 years of talking about aura transformation, I've learned a lot about how to speak about spiritual stuff that's pretty high level in a way that connects with people. And I think today we all know how crazy the narrative has become around alternative perspectives, spiritual people being lumped with right-wing people, conspiracy theories, all this sort of thing. Suddenly it's become harder again to talk about anything outside of the mainstream narrative without being ridiculed. So we need to learn, we need to step it up, how to talk about what we do in a educated, grounded, a practical, true way. And it takes some thinking about. And so when I want to go live, well, I know I'm going to go live because my body tells me. My body's like, oh, you need to talk about this, you need to talk about that, and it'll come up, and I'm like, okay. So I'm going to go do that. And then I've been holding on to this you can hear maybe I sound a bit bunged up, and that's why I've not done this one yet, because it welled up. Hello, people. I can't see you, so say hello. The theme of the entrepreneurial spirit has been exciting me, and I'm getting passionate and excited about what does that mean? Like, what's the energetics of entrepreneurship? What is that? And I was almost scared to look it up. I was like, what happens if the word entrepreneur is like horrible? Hi. So I looked it up, and it's brilliant. I loved it. I was so excited. So that's why I've made it into a workshop, because I could see that there's many layers to this entrepreneurial spirit, and I have a unique perspective because of the kinesiology and the aura transformation about how that really works with the, how the entrepreneurial spirit, what does that look like on the anatomy of spirit and energetics of the energy field and of production and success and wealth. So that's my unique perspective on the entrepreneurial spirit that I will go into on the free workshop and activation. And I say activation because we are going to switch that thing on. We're not going to let that thing sleepy and dormant, And I think what I've noticed with all the healer types and coaches that I work with is they've got blinkers on. Blinkers to what the possibilities are. There are limitless possibilities and limitless creativity, and you can mold your work in whatever way you want, basically. And it's our cultures and our education and so on, and our society, and then the field, all the people in the same field as you are all on some unconscious agreement about how it's going to be done and what it's worth and blah, blah, blah. And all that could go poof in an instant. And I'm calling it an activation because we're going to do three or four energetic kind of guided energy shifts so that you can switch this on, this entrepreneurial spirit, or at least take the blinkers off of it so it can operate properly. because you are magnificent creator beings, and somehow we get disconnected from this creator being in us. And I really want to go into it. And anyway, so the word entrepreneur from the Latin is to swim out, entre, to swim out, to grasp, capture and understand. Yes. And my business, if I don't talk about it very much, the name of my logo business thing brand is Dare to Be, which is from the Latin sapere aude, which means dare to use the knowledge that you have and do something with it. So yeah, because I used to get so annoyed at university. People, I had amazing teachers all the way through. I'm so, blessed to have had these amazing teachers that love what they were doing. Sandfly in my eye. And they would be talking about how power and control works in our cultures, in our leadership. And I would be like, oh my God, we need to do something about it. And that's a lot of my activism comes from learning more and more about the layers of how our society and culture have worked over time. How, we went from corporal punishment to, being in fear of being hung, drawn and quartered in the public sphere, and how we then internalize fear through media, social norming, CCTV cameras, and then we just behave ourselves. We don't need to be threatened anymore. We just do it. And so I was learning all that 20 years ago and being like really shocked and like, oh my God, we've been lied to and we're being manipulated. And I was getting very excited in my university course, and they were like, what's this? They're used to people going like, yes, how do you do it? Yes, let me take notes, but how I can control corporations and be a consultancy for the businesses, and yes, let's learn how control and power works. And I'm like, no, we need to come back to some sort of innocence and purity of goodness of humans. So anyway, Dare to Be is I want to make something different happen because I don't think things are operating rightly. So that takes, Dare to Be is dare to grasp, understand what's happening to you and around you. And that's what healers are doing all the time. Healers, coaches. We're grasping, we're reaching into the consciousness of manifestation of being. And we're trying to understand or align it or make it less painful, less stressful, less traumatized, less wounded, so that different outcomes can happen. So Dare to Be is like dare to grasp and understand and use your knowledge wisely. Don't just be a lemming and go like, okay, I'll perpetuate that madness. Or do you want to create something different and new? And the entrepreneur for me is swimming out and grasping to comprehend. And that's in the eye of the beholder as well. How do your unique frequency, operate and move in your environment, and then also create something new and different. And that's what an entrepreneur does. And I think, entrepreneurship is, what I'm looking at it in this sense is the spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit, the energy of someone that is wanting to create something new and communicate the new thing to people that might not know what it is. So there is definitely a lot of education when it comes to being on the leading edge of entrepreneurship and consciousness expansion and so on. So, needing to explain what you do without pushing people away is like part and parcel of doing what we're doing here. Quick view of the beautiful beach and the roaring waves. It's actually really big waves for where I am today. There's lots of surfer people. So I don't want to go on too much because I want you to come to the workshop because I really think it's going to be very powerful. And I always say, when there's me and one other person in a one-to-one doing an energy activation, it's powerful and it's wonderful and it's great and we probably get somewhere. But imagine if there's 10 or 20 or 30 or more, all going, right, let's switch this on, let's dissolve the mechanisms that keep us small, the thought forms and entities and cultural horseshoes that make us stay small and behave and think in certain ways. How do we dissolve that energetic architecture that is no longer serving us and step out boldly, creating new ways of working, new ways of thinking, new ways of being that are healthy for you because you're working in the way you want to work and you're surviving and thriving and able to support your family, but you're creating a bigger impact for more people. So you need to be bold to do that stuff. And there's so many layers, like the visibility thing, so many layers to people being afraid to be bold and to speak out. And it's going to get worse. So you need some courage, man. You need some courage and some practicing. And that's what all the work I do is giving you time to practice and practice and practice your alignment, your transmission, the message, the build the trust. Show yourself to understand something that others are struggling with and then be able to communicate it in a human, everyday language, not fifth dimensional woo-woo, even I switch off when I hear people saying all this overly complicated, new agey spiritual language. It's just so passé, man. We need to get human, we need to get real, we need to apply to where people are at and what they're going through now and have a bridge to that place. Once they're in your containers and they're in your hold, in your intimacy of a container, talk about all the flipping unicorns and flowers of life and stuff. Talk about it then. But first, talk to people where they are and don't make them feel stupid for not understanding what you're talking about, or then reject you and label you all the language that's being bandied about now. We need to get real and we need to talk human, basically. Be as magical as you like, be as aligned and magic as you like, and create amazing, blow your socks off containers. But somehow you need to be a bridge as well as a pioneer. So yeah, the entrepreneurial spirit, that's what I'm here for. See, I like coming without a preparation because I think it's better than when I've prepared sometimes. But the entrepreneurial spirit is very much what I've been talking about for years, doing aura transformation, really. It's the same expression. What happens in an aura transformation, what is happening in this great awakening, what is happening to the planet, and what's happening with the astrological cycles, what was prophesized that would happen, it's all kind of happening now, is an increased amount of spirit, energy, vision, imagination, spiritual energy, heart energy. There is an increase and more of it able to be like embodied and here now. And then that is marrying with the earth energy, the golden energy of the earth, and that is the material terrestrial energy. So if you start bringing more spirit energy into the terrestrial, you being the conduit, the bridge, you can start creating way more. So it's linked to your manifestation ability. So the more embodied you are, ascended in, not out, the more embodied you are, the more you are grounded, material, strong, centered, material, like the more heavy you are. If you could bring all of your energy that's been in millions of timelines and millions of places in the galaxy, and you could bring all that energy into focus right here, right now, and actually build something real right here, right now, it's so powerful. But because we're dispersed and we're floating around and we're seeking for something outside of ourselves and we're not strong and resilient on the inside, we're looking out there for stuff, or we're traveling out there kind of masturbating in the universe with how exciting, studying planets and frequency is. It's like, no, come back into the body, all of those parts, and think about what you're going to create, because you're a creator being. We're all entrepreneurs here, we're all creators here, but we have become disconnected from that faculty. So that's what that's why the entrepreneurial spirit, I think, if we could activate that, it'll make life so much easier that you can see where you're going with limitless possibility, take the blinkers off and start thinking outside the box about how you want to live, who you are, what you do, what you're good at. Take that and create something beautiful. And, social media and the internet and all that stuff is helping because you have even more choice about how you can deliver this stuff. And I get so excited. I was thinking, maybe I was trying to think, what's my next workshop going to be? And it's become this entrepreneurial spirit thing. I was thinking an option would be, sit me down. I could probably do, 20 people in an hour. Tell me what you're doing for your business and if you feel what direction you want to go in. And I could easily quick fire so many ideas because I've switched that creative brain on. It's not necessarily a magical thing that I'm better at. I get off on it, but it's because I've taken the blinkers off to possibility. And it's if you could look at all the things you've done and everything that you're good at and an understanding of your personality, your learning style, or the impact you have on people, then you can start designing, mind mapping and getting ideas about what you're going to create for people that takes them on a journey, that takes them from where they are to where they want to be. And you can create something really beautiful and safe and exciting and multi-layered that really gets people there. I'm also fed up. I'm ranting away. I'm really fed up with going on a course where someone's just talking at you and then you're supposed to go off and do the thing on your own. Yeah, of course you have to go do the thing on your own. But on my courses, you're getting the kinesiology, which is major energy work in a group setting where we're blowing the lid off old, energetic architecture that's holding us back, reinstating the core sense of self, the true self, the frequency, opening up the channels so that your voice and your message can actually land to the right people. So it's magical, it's amazing energy work. We're doing the coaching, like I just said, the kind of lab where you're give me where you're at, and then we'll brainstorm on what's next and what would look good and what could be easier, what could be simpler, what would be, what's the real outcomes you're creating. And then you're doing videos, the Visibility Gateway, you're sharing videos that you make, and then me and Tallulah, we watch the video and we feel into the energetic transmission and give as much feedback so that you know what to go and do by yourself. So there's an element of energy work and coaching, videos, marketing information, and feedback, and a group setting. So it's not a passive thing where you just sit back and get bored and forget what you're doing. How many courses have you got that you never finished? So this is a different experience. I'm talking about the Visibility Gateway, and I've also got Love Again, the Heart Retrieval, and Money Gateway. They're all similar, but the Visibility Gateway is the one with the most layers. And all of those have come from me, a creative, taking the blinkers off, looking at everything I've got, and then really starting to pick out the best bits and the most transformative bits and the pieces that create the most change for people. So that's what I want to do with you guys for the entrepreneurial spirit, is leading up to the Visibility Gateway, where you're coming into an incubator where we're clearing and blasting off all that's holding you back, realigning you with who you really are, all your power and all your magic. We're increasing your capacity to hold more energy, more power, more magic, more clients, more money, more wealth, more intimacy with your clients, etc. And you're practicing what you're doing, how to speak powerfully about what you're doing in a human way. So it's a really powerful course. I'm so proud of it. It's been amazing. The feedback's outstanding. I've loved doing it. I'm doing it less because it's a lot for me. And I did it 6 times last year. So I'm going to do it 2 times a year now, I think, because I'm about to start the Aura Mediator courses again. So, all the pieces are moving. But thank you for listening. I haven't read things because it just throws me off. I'll have a quick look. You can look at the page. Yeah, Rob is exactly right. He's been an entrepreneur for 25 years, and to me it's mainly about being a manifestor, exactly, making things appear, believing it will work in one way or another. it won't work out how we expect, but maybe it's even better. I love your company name, Dare to Be. Thank you. Exactly, that's what I was saying about if you can have your spirit energy in your body and you're walking on earth, and the more grounded you are and the more physical you are and the more here that you are, the more you can take your spirit energy and your earth energy and actually create things. So it's your manifestation power for sure. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't work, but that just means you get up and you try something else. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. It doesn't give up. It just sees everything as an opportunity and like a learning, like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's try something else. There's no failure. There's no doubt. Love it. Yeah, same. Jenna says about the MBA. Oh, yeah, when I was talking about my course, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're being taught how to... So as you're kind of being taught to be a consultant of business. So you could go into a big organization, corporation. And I was like in a course with people that, their dads like owned huge corporations and they were going to go back in the business. And they were being taught the real sociological how power and control has worked through the ages, and they were learning how to do it. I was like, oh my God. My dad's like a human rights activist union guy, so I came from a very different perspective. And then they said, I saw them years later and they're like, they don't make them like you anymore, because I turned into like an actual activist and living off grid and off the land, and oh my God, I totally went for the opposite. They were like, whoops. Thank you for watching, everyone. It's very, very nice to spend Friday afternoon with you. A little snotty Sarah. I don't know if you can see. That is a magical hill. It's pretty big. There's another one where there's the rock in the middle of the screen there, in the middle of the ocean. And there's another, that's the rock. Hang on a minute. Yeah, that's the rock, and that's the hill, and there's another hill. So there's 3 land masses. And then there's a magical bridge over there. We will see it shortly. And golf courses, because it's Scotland. I've taken because of different things, which I might go into at some point, I didn't want to come on live and talk to people. I just didn't want to do that. I was in my own little process, and that's fine. But I found other ways of working. Now I'm like, I want to go on the live. So here I am. Lovely to chat. Come to the Entrepreneurial Spirit Activation. It's going to be content, musings, inspiration, tips, and energetic activations in several parts to break it up a bit.